How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And in this video, we're going to be going over Lucid and as well as for SOFI. We saw a lot of strength inside of the market today, so let's see how these stocks look like going into tomorrow. Let's start off with Lucid. So we see that we closed at $18.76, being up 0.54%. On the low, it tested $18.31, and then on the high, testing $19.08. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 10.448 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 21.119 million shares. So we had below average volume, but we did see some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we want to see what our moving averages are looking like. So we have the 9 EMA that is below the 50 EMA and as well as the 21 EMA. But the good thing about it is Lucid did have a close above the 21 EMA. It is at 1873 and it closed at 1876. So what do we want to see? We want to see Lucid being able to find support at the 50 EMA. It did see a high at $19.08. So if we're able to actually use that as support going into tomorrow, that would be a really good look. But of course, that would be a lot to ask. But one thing we can't ignore though, it did form a higher low overall on the day. Previously, which was last week Friday, it was around the $17.80 range, and then you can see that we found support today at $18.31. So if we have another increasing level of support, maybe around $18.50, that wouldn't be a bad look either. Of course, as far as for the near term, we'd want to see Lucid getting up to at least $20. We know this is a psychological area for this play, and as far as recent resistance just below that level, it is around $19.72. And if we take a look at our stochastics down below, if we have some bulls coming in and wanting to buy up this stock, I don't see any reason why whatsoever we shouldn't see Lucid trading at least around the $20 range sometime this week. Now let's move on. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 15th, we have Silverback Asset Management LLC that went in with puts of a value of 221,100 shares, and we also have Voya Investment Management LLC that purchased 215,992 shares. We also have Quantimental Technologies LLC that purchased 19,528 shares, and we have Balyasny Asset Management LLC that purchased 381,220 shares, Prudential Financial Inc. that purchased 48,505 shares, and we have Nuveen Asset Management LLC that purchased just over 1.18 million shares. And then we have Wise Asset Management LP that purchased 31,265 shares. So those are all the filings for the 15th, the most noticeable being Nuveen Asset Management, big position. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 48.45%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.61 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 800,000, updated 3 minutes ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 11.21%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 11th, it is at 53.60, and then for the close of the 12th being at 48.45. So we had a little bit of a decrease right there, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 21.02%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. Let's take a look at SOFI. So you see we close at $7.62, being down 0.39%. On the low, it tested $7.39, and then on the high, testing $7.70. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 37.901 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 59.733 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and we had a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, let's take a look at our moving averages here. So you can see that we are above the 50 EMA, the 21 EMA, and we closed just above the 9 EMA. So SOFI is still showing a lot of strength. We also do see that it is forming some support here right in this $7.30 range. We saw a low of $7.39. So going into tomorrow, what I want to see? I want to see some more momentum. I want price action above $7.70, and then we want to see if SOFI can make that move going back to $8. We are well aware if SOFI can get to $8, you can see that I drew the line here. We want that break above $8.51. If we get that break above $8.51, that's where we want to see SOFI getting to $9. So please add that to your homework. The only time where I start seeing SOFI looking bearish is if we break below 724, and then add on top of that, if we break below 706, we do have a gap that needs to be filled right here around $6.64. I feel that this would be very healthy if we came down to fill in this gap and then wanting to make a move to the upside, in my personal opinion. But I also wouldn't be shocked if we make a test to 8 before we go back down to filling in that gap. But at least you know what it looks like to the downside, and you can take advantage of that opportunity if it does present itself. And we could also see from our stochastics down below, we are trending downwards. So let's see if we could have a change in that momentum. But if we don't have it, then hey, you know where the gap fill is to the downside. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to take a look at the recent filings for the 15th. So we have Voya Investment Management LLC that purchased 104,873 shares. We have Tabor Asset Management LP that purchased 136,199 shares. You can see we have 2 closed positions. We also have Delos Wealth Advisors LLC that purchased 125 shares, and we have Advent Capital Management that purchased 150,000 shares. We have Go-To Management LLC that purchased just over 14.52 million shares, sizable position. And then we have Prudential Financial Inc. that purchased 34,469 shares, and Balsany Asset Management LLC went in with calls with a value of 100,000 shares. We have Nuveen Asset Management LLC that purchased just over 1.5 million shares. We have some more closed positions. We also have Continuum Advisories LLC that purchased 10,235 shares, and we have Jeffries Group LLC that purchased 19,392 shares. And then for the last one, we have First Capital Advisors Group LLC that purchased 14,163 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 45.31%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 7.98 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 13 minutes ago, and then for the short vol fee rate, it is at 1.29%. When we take a look at the history, the short volume, we can see for the close of the 11th, it is at 43.57, and then for the close of the 12th, being at 45.31. So it did creep up a bit, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 17.06%, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. So overall on the day for SOFI, I was expecting a bit more from the stock, but if you guys check out the chart portion of the video, we know what it looks like if it wants to make a further move to the upside, but we also can't forget about the gap that we have to the downside, so make sure you add that to your notes. And in regards to Lucid, I want to see it getting to at least $20 sometime this week. If it is unable to do that, you know the levels that you need to look out for the downside in regards to weakness. But as far as a move that you want to look out for prior to it actually getting to $20, then you want to see if it can get to the 50 EMA, which is above $18.98. So long story short, we want to make sure that we form a higher low at $19 so we have that momentum as this week continues. So that pretty much sums up the video. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and if you found a lot of value from the video, make sure you hit the like button. Let's see how these stocks perform going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.